right. I am so excited to share this with you all today. Everyone's always curious, like, number one, how do you hire out? How do you outsource a content creator that is an expert? I'm not talking about a social media manager. I'm talking about a content creator that is an expert with strategy, with articulating a message, and with actual, the actual visual concepts behind everything. So that is what I'm going to share with you today, because when you hire out the right people, here's the kind of shit that can happen. And excuse me for cursing, but I'm not about like playing around on social media and marketing. I don't have time for that. When you have the right language in front of the right people because they feel it, like they see your content and they literally stop the scroll, right? Because whatever you said in those first two lines or the first few seconds of your video, they're like, okay, is she in my head? Is she listening to me right now? And they literally jump in and take action on your content. And you close a $45,000 deal, or you close a $90,000 deal. That is the kind of activation that I'm talking about when you are working with a true expert and you are outsourcing. Okay. Now, to do this on your own, yes, absolutely. But it takes patience, because most of us as entrepreneurs, we didn't grow up we didn't start our career as marketers, right? We started our careers with an expertise and a passion in something that we are skilled at. And most of us are not skilled at marketing and activation marketing, which is what I call it, right? So I want to share with you what we do behind the scenes when we are first starting to work with a done for you client in any capacity. So we have different levels of done for you clients. And so I'm going to share with you exactly like what this looks like from beginning to end, so that if you are somebody that's like, you know what, I'm in the weeds, I can't continue to be doing all of this for myself. I really think that I need to start outsourcing. I want you to start thinking about the things that you need to look at and to pay attention to. Okay. There's a difference between outsourcing a social media manager and a content creator and an actual strategist. So why this is important is that content is meant to bring in leads, right? Which then builds traction in your business, which then fills your offers, which then allows you to have more freedom and not work 24/7 and to pay your bills and to make a bigger impact. All right. So typically when you feel like you're posting and people are ghosting you, nothing is happening, it's not luck and it's not the algorithm, although there are some factors to that, right? So if you're posting, but you're not engaging, the algorithm is not going to be on your side. And we're not going to get into all of that today. But a lot of times what I see, especially when a client comes to us brand new and has said, all I do is post, or my VA posts all the time, but I'm not getting anything out of it. So typically why this happens is because the back end systems are just not there. And you're not talking about it with your people, with your team. There's no brand clarity either, right? So like no one is talking about these things. Instead, you're maybe asking a VA to create content for you and to schedule out your posts. That is not strategy. And that's not marketing. Okay. Posts are not marketing. The strategy behind it and the systems behind it is part of the strategy that builds the vehicle to allow that content to actually work for you, not against you, right? So it's the strategy and the documentation that's going to set a content creator, like that's going to set them up to nail your voice and to actually activate your audience. There's two parts to this. It's the strategy and the content creator. I will say there are content creators that don't know strategy and vice versa. So what you want to do is if you're looking to outsource somebody for your social media marketing, you need to find either one person that can do both, which is very difficult to find. Typically, you don't find that. Or you need to find a team that includes a strategist and a copywriter and a content creator. And I'm going to share with you how to set them up, how to set up that team properly so that everything that they're putting out there for you is aligned with your voice and it gets you, if you're selling high ticket, it gets you those $45,000 clients from one post. So that is a true story. One of our former client that we were creating her content for. Now, I will tell you, she ran ads. She did a lot of organic content as well, but there was specifically one post that got her attracted to this human being. And it's a lead, right? They're leads, but they're human beings, right? That somebody raised their hand on this post, which led them to schedule a call with her, which led her to actually book the client for her $45,000 mastermind deal, like on the spot, one call. one post led to one call, led to paying client on that same call. Okay. I want you to understand and to really lean in what needs to happen if you are outsourcing. If you're looking for somebody to create your own content in order for something like that to actually happen. All right. Another client within one day had a $90,000 sale. Now, the interesting part about it is that it was from a piece of content that not the client that purchased the $90,000 retainer from her. It's not the client that actually saw the content. It was a connection of hers on her personal Facebook profile, which we created her content for, that saw the content that referred her to the client. So for those of you that are like, I don't want to share anything on my personal profile because I keep everything separate, I'm going to tell you, you're doing a huge disservice to your business, especially if you're a coach, a consultant, professional service provider, because the people that are in your audience could be a huge referral base for you. It's not always the person that's actually in your audience that will purchase from you. It's somebody that they know that knows you. Make sense? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pull back the curtain on how we do this for clients so that you are aware of what to look out for if you're looking to outsource, and literally stop wasting money on content that falls flat. Because most of us that are creating our own content, the content's falling flat because number one, you're either just like, throwing spaghetti at the wall, you're watching trends and you're just following trends, or you're taking something that somebody else did and you're redoing it, hoping that it works for you. That's not strategy. And you're too close to your own business to see it, which is a lot of the time. The other reason is you're probably not getting support, right? You're not in a community, in a space, in a container where you're getting feedback and support. Ask an expert, hey, how do you think this would work on my feed? Do you think that this is going to activate my audience, right? And you're just doing things on your own. So here's why this is important, especially right now and moving forward in the digital space. There is a 7-11-4 rule. Okay. This is something that Google came out with. I think it's probably been about 2 years now. So I will say these numbers are probably higher, but what this means is that what it really takes to build authority and to create real conversions is your audience needs, meaning each individual in your audience needs to consume at least 7 hours of content. Now, this does not mean 7 hours of video content. This means content in general, right? So content is not just video. Content is like written text, blog posts, emails, videos, that all counts as content. LinkedIn articles, social media posts, okay? But each individual needs to consume at least 7 hours of your content. Now, here's a little caveat behind this. Did you know that only 1 to 3% of your audience actually sees your posts at any given time? So let's say you have 1,000 people in your audience. Let's just say you have 1,000 friends, okay? That means only 10 people are seeing your content at any given time. Now you know why consistency and valuable content is so important and why video is so much easier to put content out there than 7 hours of written content. Most of you are not doing video at all. So all you're doing is written content. You know how many posts you need to put out there in order to make 7 hours worth of written content, right? If it takes somebody like 30 seconds to read your posts, imagine how many 30-second written posts you need to create to equal to 7 hours. That's a lot. Okay. Now here's the 11 part to this. Each individual in your audience or your ideal clients in your audience need to have 11 plus touch points with you. What does this mean? I'm talking about 11 one-on-one touch points. I'm talking about if you are not sending out personal messages to people, that's not a touch point. Touch point is a connection between you and that other person. Okay. So this will count as email, but what if they're not opening the email? That doesn't count. They must have opened it, and you should know by your CRM if you have one. Okay. 11 touch points. So if you follow up with someone 1 time or 3 times, that is not enough, guys. It's not enough for people to take action on something, especially if you are a high ticket seller, if you've got high impact offers. Okay. Now, the 4 out of this is that they need to see you across 4 platforms or 4 plus platforms. This does not mean 4 social media platforms. Platforms could include Facebook, your website, email, and text messaging. Okay. So I am not talking about 4 social media platforms. I'm talking about digital platforms. Okay. Many of you have all your eggs in just the Facebook basket or the Instagram basket or the LinkedIn basket. Guess what? I don't know if you saw what happened 2 days ago, but Facebook wiped out tons of groups. It was a glitch, an AI glitch. This happens all the time. If all your eggs are in a Facebook group or, on your personal profile on Facebook and you are not collecting data from your contacts, you're going to be out of business, right? So you don't want to just have all your eggs in one basket, and you need to have that omnipresence. Now, that is how you build trust online. And if your systems aren't set up to support that, your content is not going to convert, no matter how beautiful it looks. no matter how beautiful your posts look, they're not going to convert if you don't have these systems in place. So what you want to do is you want to start with building foundations so that when you go to outsource, you now have the foundation to set up your small team for success, which is going to lead to your success. Okay. So let's start with the first thing. The very first thing. And by the way, whether you are looking to outsource or not, you got to do these things. Okay. Let's also pretend, let's do the other side of this, that you are the employee, that you are the one that you are outsourcing some of your time to actually creating your content, right? Because most of us entrepreneurs are the ones doing it on our own, right? So the very first foundation is you need to optimize your brand, all of the touch points of your brand. So optimize your bios, your about sections on all of your social media profiles, optimize your about section, your bio on your websites, optimize the language that you're using, like basically audit your entire online presence. Huge one. Before anything, write clear bios, write clear headlines, write clear call to actions across all platforms. Okay. Refresh your profile pictures. Your covers need to be in alignment, your banners, all of that. Okay. Now, what we do when you come and work with us on any capacity, whether it's in our small, like Kickstarter mastermind, which by the way is so efficient, like budget wise, having an outside perspective when you're doing this audit is huge. Okay. Foundation number 2 is you must have a crystal clear messaging and positioning. Okay. This means crystal clear offer, like articulate the transformation and the results that you provide crystal clear. And what I mean by that is don't use your words, use your ideal client's words. And there's lots of different ways that we help our clients to figure this out, especially startup companies, but that is a must, right? So the messaging has to connect instantly. Messaging has to connect. It's got to resonate. It's got to be relevant. So we are also a meta ads agency, and one of our done for you agency clients, we have been running ads for her. She got a lead that, and I loved what this guy said. So she's a dating coach. And so in the caption of her ad, before they clicked, so her ad was a video, but then there's a caption, right? On Facebook. And before they click the learn more button, which then would take them to a quiz, which then would take them to book a call. And the gentleman bought her coaching offer, which is a $10,000 offer on the call, but it started from the ad. What he said to her was, what you said in that ad, in the message, like hit me, like you were talking directly to me. And it said something like, and I actually posted this inside of the group as a testimonial, but it said something like to the effect of, when I read the ad and it said, do you feel like that guy that stands over in the corner at a bar and is ghosted by every woman that walks by, something like that. But it hit him. That is a feeling that he feels. And that is the kind of messaging that we need to be like, have defined and have it documented so that when you are creating content or when you are outsourcing your content, that content creator and strategist and copywriter know exactly the emotions that your ideal clients are going through. Okay. So we help you to actually extract this when we work with you. And then we refine that messaging before we send it. And I say we, it starts with me because I'm the strategist. So I help extract that out of you. And then it goes to my copywriter and then it goes to our content creator, right? Because if you can't say what you do within 10 seconds, your audience is not going to have any clue. So clarity is what actually makes your content click, like literally click, right? And stop the scroll. Okay. So third thing that you need to have in place, your third foundation is you must have a brand creative brief. This is actually one of the very first things that we work on when you have a kickoff call inside of our vaults community, also our society mastermind, any of our masterminds. But when you start with us, even in the vaults, yes, you get live support for just $97 the first month. Like what? And during that live support call, we are helping you build your brand creative brief because there's no way that you can build substantial, hit me in the gut type of content without having your brand documented. And a brand creative brief is essentially, it's like your business Bible that has your offers, your voice, your tone, client language, their objections, some visual references, your unique angles, your values, your client desires, their pain points, challenges, all of that. Okay. In our society and vault programs, this is like the very first onboarding step. We need to have this, right? In order to support you better. And if you work with us as a done for you client, we actually build this with you after we have our 90-minute strategy call. All right. So you can't outsource without clarity. Remember. Okay. Foundation number 4 is you've got to have a super strong hands-off system to your team. Okay. So here's what it should look like. Okay. And this is exactly how we onboard our done for you clients. And by the way, I want you to know, like, if you're outsourcing, especially to a level of expertise that we have, this is not just for corporate brands. Okay. We have done for you clients that are actually getting mentorship and guidance from me on a bi-weekly basis, but then we have our marketing team doing their entire back-end marketing system and content creation. Okay. And this is exactly what it looks like. So first step, and this is something that you want to document, right? So like if you're going to outsource, you should have a flow or like a visual infographic that shows this, like mind map this. Okay. So first thing is an onboarding call, right? So you've got to have an onboarding call with your team. Okay. This is where, like, if we were going to do an onboarding call with you, I would be extracting all of your magic, all of your uniqueness, and guide you through some questions that are like super, super deep. So I can really, really understand who you are, your business, and your ideal clients. And that is recorded. That way we can document it. Number two, so whoever you're outsourcing to, this is what we do. They should take about a week or maybe even 10 days, just depending on, project load, to literally study your voice. Okay. Like we study you. So we comb through your existing content. We go through your lives. We go through reels. We go through any podcasts, any interviews. If you're a coach and you have recorded trainings, we will watch some of those trainings. So it's like super deep and thorough. And that is a huge must. You have to. So that's the second phase to like that handoff system. Okay. The third phase to this is it's more of like a visual direction. And this is where you want to make sure that you are giving your team reference examples, right? Like what are those aesthetics that you like that you see on Instagram? Don't just use your words. Like they need to visually, because the creative team needs to visually see those concepts. That's going to allow a more aligned strategic creativity than just them coming up with something. All right. It's an absolute necessary. And if you like, I don't know, I like everything, we will help you with that. Right. But make sure if somebody else is helping you with this, that they help you with that. There's tons of places that you can look and see things that you like and don't like. Okay. The fourth step to this is you need to give them a list of your competitors. Okay. I don't really believe in competition, but you know what I mean? People that do the same thing that you do that maybe, are inspiring. Okay. So they need to know who those competitors are. It's very important. And then number 5, there needs to be a central hub where all of this is going to be organized, like a dedicated space, not like through email, like tons of email threads. No. Right. It could be something as simple as a Google folder that's organized with different files. For us, we use ClickUp as well as Google Drive, but we also have some clients where we will create a Notion social media calendar. Like we do have some clients that all we do for them is create their content after we've done this whole system, right? We create their content on a weekly basis, and on a weekly basis, we just deliver them their content and they handle the posting of it. Okay. Which, by the way, I'm going to share a little bit about that in just a second. But what we do is we'll put it all in a Notion board for them, and they literally copy and paste the caption from there. It looks like a calendar, and the images are attached to there with links to the Google file where they can grab the images from, or if it's a reel or any other, sort of creative. But you've got to have a place where all of this is organized. Okay. So here's why this works. I mentioned the client that from one post closed a $45,000 offer, and also the $90,000 offer, and also the $10,000 offer from that Facebook ad, right? That didn't just happen like by luck. It happened because there were systems in place to make these things happen, right? So I'm going to do a quick little recap. Pay attention, because this little recap is actually what we use when we go to repurpose this video into a reel. We use the end part of this video. We don't splice up the entire video. That would take way too long. I mean, not way too long, but it's just like inefficient. So what we do is I'm going to take the last part of my video, this like little recap, and that's going to be my actual reel. Super cool, right? Okay. So I want to share with you the foundations that you must lay down before you outsource to any small team, VA, doesn't matter. Okay. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a coach, a consultant, a professional service provider, and you're like, creating my own content is taking way too long, I want you to be able to first set yourself up for success as well as your team. So the first thing you want to do is you got to make sure to optimize all of your profiles. That means do an entire audit of your entire online presence. Okay. Write clear bios, headlines, CTAs, all of it. Refresh your profile images, refresh your cover images, make sure that they are aligned. Second thing is make sure that you have clarity on your messaging and your positioning. So a crystal clear offer, a defined results-oriented transformation, right? Like you have to be able to articulate that perfectly. Well, not perfectly, things change, but you know what I mean. And messaging that connects, that like literally hits somebody in the gut when they hear it or when they see it. Okay. Third thing, build or create a brand creative brief. This is so important. This is like the Bible of your business. It should include your offers, your tone of voice, your personality, client language, their objections, their desires, their pain points, visual references, your angles, like your unique angles, your value proposition, all of that. All right. And then the fourth thing is you've got to have a super strong, like hands-off system. And here's what it should look like. The first thing you need to do with your team is an onboarding call, or they should be doing with you, right? So if you were to work with us on any capacity, there's an onboarding call. This is where like you want to be able to have them extract your magic through super guided questions that are really, really deep, right? And you're going to record this call to make sure that it's all documented. The second thing is you want them to study your voice. Okay. This is what we do for our clients. Before we actually create any sort of content, we've got to study them. We go through all of their content, their lives, their reels, their podcast interviews, if they've been speaking on stages, if they're a coach, and obviously they've got live trainings with their mastermind, we actually will listen to hours of those so that we can get to know your personality, who you are, and all of that fun stuff. Then you got to give them a visual direction. Okay. So give them examples, show them like what you like, what you don't like aesthetically. Instagram is a great place for this, but you got to give them more than just words. Fourth thing is share who your competitors are. Now, honestly, I don't believe in competitors, but they've got to know like what are some other people just like you that do what you do, that have a similar audience, that offer similar services, right? You've got to give them that list so that they can review those and let them know how you're similar and how you're not similar. That is very important. And then the fifth thing is there's got to be a hub where you are organizing, or they are going to organize everything into a dedicated space, right? So this could be inside of Notion, inside of ClickUp. It could even just be in a Google folder with various folders inside of there, or a combination of both, but there's got to be one place. It can't be in DMs and it can't be in emails. That's going to get super lost and it's going to cause you more frustration. And the whole point of this is to take this off of your plate and to actually get results from your content. All right. So this is what we do for people. So if you're looking to outsource to experts, to growth partners that actually know what the hell they're doing and have decades of experience, this is where we come in, and we are not just your strategist, but we also are your copywriter and your content creator. So if you're interested in that, just say the word "do it for me" and we will make sure to reach out. I hope this was super helpful, and have an amazing rest of your day. And remember, stay social. Okay. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.